Ever wondered what causes swell waves? What are they? Why do they form? These are questions that often arise when we witness the magnificent dance of the sea. Swell waves are not just any ordinary waves, they are the long wavelength waves that gracefully carve their way across the surface of the seas. These waves are an intriguing spectacle of nature, showcasing a blend of power and beauty. They are not born from the local winds that ruffle the surface of the sea around us. No, these waves have a more distant origin, formed from storms that are perhaps hundreds of miles away. This energy, born from the storms, transfers into the sea, resulting in the formation of these high, majestic waves that travel great distances. They are the silent storytellers of distant tempests, gracefully dancing on the canvas of the sea. So let's dive a bit deeper and understand the formation of these captivating swell waves. Swell waves don't just happen. They're not the product of local winds, but instead originate from distant storms. Let's dive a little deeper into the formation of swell waves. Picture this. Far out at sea, a storm is brewing. The winds are fierce, whipping up the ocean's surface into a frenzy. This is where the journey of a swell wave begins. During these storms, an immense transfer of energy takes place. The air, charged with the power of the storm, passes its energy into the water. This energy exchange leads to the formation of very high waves. But these aren't swell waves just yet. They're more like unruly toddlers, chaotic and directionless. As these waves start to move away from their birthplace, the stormy area, they begin to mature. They grow larger and start to form a more defined shape and direction. This is the swelling process, where the waves transition from being storm-generated to becoming swell waves. These waves then embark on a journey across the ocean, sometimes traveling thousands of miles. They roll across the sea surface, carrying the energy from the storm from which they were born. These are the swell waves, the long-distance travelers of the sea, carrying stories from distant storms to faraway shores. Interestingly, unlike wind waves that move in the direction of the wind, swell waves can propagate in different directions. This is why sometimes, on a calm and windless day at the beach, you might notice waves breaking on the shore. Those are likely swell waves, reaching the end of their long journey. These waves are not just random occurrences, but the result of intricate natural processes. They are the tangible proof of storms that happened far away and long ago. So next time you stand by the ocean, watching the waves roll in, remember, each wave has a story, a journey, and a storm behind it. So you see, these waves are not just random occurrences, but the result of intricate natural processes. Now that we know how swell waves form, let's understand their unique characteristics. One of the key features of swell waves is their directionality. Unlike locally generated wind waves, swells have a narrower range of frequencies and directions. This is because they have dispersed from their area of generation, taking on a more defined shape and direction. So, even if you're paddling out into the ocean on a calm day, you might encounter a swell rolling in from a storm that occurred hundreds or even thousands of miles away. Another fascinating aspect of swell waves is their ability to propagate in directions that differ from the direction of the wind. This is in stark contrast to wind seas, where the waves move in the same direction as the wind. This unique ability of swells can sometimes make them seem like they've appeared out of nowhere, with no local wind activity or precursors to signal their arrival. Now, let's talk about frequency. Swell waves are composed of a series of surface gravity waves. These waves are created by the transfer of energy from the air into the water during distant storms. Because of this, the frequency of swell waves is often determined by the intensity and duration of the storm that generated them. But perhaps the most impressive feature of swell waves is their wavelength. While the wavelengths of most swell waves may not exceed more than 150 meters, on rare occasions, swells which are longer than 700 meters can occur as a result of the most severe storms. That's about as long as 7 football fields laid end to end. To put it all together, the unique characteristics of swell waves, their direction, frequency, and impressive wavelength, coupled with their ability to travel great distances, make them a captivating phenomenon to observe and study. These remarkable traits make swell waves stand out from other sea waves. India, too, experiences the phenomenon of swell waves. These waves, formed in the depths of the ocean, make their way to India's extensive coastline, creating an awe-inspiring spectacle. However, they can also bring challenges, especially for coastal communities. Recognizing this, the Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, or INCOIS, launched the Swell Surge Forecast System in the year 2020. This ingenious system provides an early warning, 7 days in advance, helping communities to prepare for the arrival of these powerful waves. It's like having a crystal ball that looks into the ocean's future, giving us a glimpse of the swell waves before they reach our shores. This proactive approach helps mitigate potential risks, ensuring safety and promoting resilience among coastal communities. Thus, not only do we understand these waves better, but we also have systems in place to predict them. So what are swell waves? Well, they are a fascinating natural phenomenon, long wavelength waves formed on the surface of the sea, but these aren't created by local winds. Instead, they are the offspring of distant storms, places where fierce gales or hurricanes have transferred a tremendous amount of energy from the air into the water, birthing these high waves. These waves stand apart from your everyday wind waves. They have a more defined shape and direction, and can even propagate in directions different from the wind. Sometimes they can stretch out to a whopping 700 meters when born from the most severe storms. In India, swell waves are monitored using the Swell Surge Forecast System, which provides a warning 7 days in advance. This system was launched by the Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services just 4 years ago, in 2020. In a nutshell, swell waves are long wavelength waves formed due to distant storms with unique characteristics, making them a fascinating natural phenomenon.